I feel that, any successful podcast needs to have a healthy dose of virgin listeners. And if there's not, then I don't think you're doing podcasting right.
Probably correct. Because there have to be, you need to find people who have time to listen to this bullshit.
Exactly.
Also, you got to take in consideration some of the movies we've done.
Oh, those are total virgin films. Total virgin films.
Yeah, this is true.
In this realm of reality, there's no possible way that you are getting laid while watching movies like Ring of Steel. Yeah, that's
Ring
total
of Steel.
virgin movie.
Yeah.
If you're watching a movie about full contact death fencing, you're a virgin.
Oh, that fucking movie. Yeah, I forgot about it, actually.
We gave more praise to that man's mullet than the actual film itself.
It was the best character.
That mullet was amazing.
I mean, it was so feathery.
It was. It was actually amazing on how majestic that mullet really is.
I want this chance to show you that your garden karate is so much nonsense, and that's quite easy to do.
I know Kung Fu. Show me.
Well, thank you for tuning in to another exciting edition of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. I am your host, Taz, and joining me with this evening, I have brought with me my spirit animal, as cool as the other side of the pillow, my brother from another mother, my better half, the one, the only, UTBABYA.
This is the sound of my voice.
And it is alluring, sir. Also brought with us this evening, we have the Rain Man of martial arts, the self-proclaimed black man of Dagestan, the one, the only true living source of all things martial art knowledge. I bring to you Justice Magnificent.
What's going on?
And the newly dubbed, no longer hater of all things ovaries. This man has risen up the ranks of all things coolness. I bring to you the Bass Statch himself, the Dirk Diggler of the H8L, Lobo.
What's going on, guys?
Lobo, can you just say I was born ready?
I was born ready.
Yes. I hope you realize now and forever that is how you are being announced on the show. You are the Dirk Diggler of the H8L, sir.
I have never been happier in my entire life.
There is no turning back. Oh, man. Well, gentlemen, this evening we are talking Savate, the French footway. I feel like the techniques look great on film, but I have a hard time looking past that unitard. So I said we just get right into it, man, because I have a feeling we're all going to be very opinionated in regards to the art of Savate. I guess I'll start off. I've watched many documentaries on Savate. I've watched, shows like Fight Question, Human Weapon, and Mind, Body, and Ass Kicking moves where they talk about, the different martial arts from around the world. And, oftentimes they do episodes of, like, Savate. The more I look at it, I can see the benefit. I could see how kicking someone in the face with shoes on would be a pretty good way of ending a fight. Honestly, the only real negative thing that I come up with is the fact of that unitard. I just can't look past it. And as a person who went, from Pee-wee all the way to college wrestling, you would think that the idea of like a singlet or a unitard wouldn't bother me as much. But it bothered me even when I was wrestling. And I had to wear that shit. And I was forced to wear that shit. I just can't picture myself wearing it for martial art purposes. That's just me. I understand it for wrestling because you don't want anything that a person could grab onto and hold onto and control you with. Something like punching and kicking, I just don't see the benefit, but that's just me.
So I think this is one of those things where they wear it for scoring purposes. They need to see like if like kicks to the knee or whatever would have landed or like land or something like that.
Okay.
Similar to like why you can't have the knees and elbows covered, or you couldn't for the longest time in Olympic weightlifting.
Okay.
Because they need to see that everything's like locked out. I think it's one of those things where like the leotard provides an ability for the judges to actually see what's going on. It may be a little bit harder if they're wearing shorts or something that's a little bit looser.
See, that makes a lot of sense. And I wish that, documentaries and shows like that would just lead off with that to help the viewer have a better understanding as to why there's grown men wearing full body spandex suits.
I think the show Human Weapon in their Savate episode talks about that, actually.
Oh, well, that definitely would have helped. I feel like that's a show that didn't get the love it deserved.
No, it
didn't. It didn't. And they could have. There were a lot. I remember they had Ite Gill on there talking about Krav Maga.
Yeah.
The real Krav Maga.
The real Krav Maga, yeah.
I remember seeing like a compilation of Ite Gill like sparring dudes like way back. And he was just, it was basically they're doing like MMA type sparring. And this dude was just lighting people up. Super talented. At least his transition game was crazy. And I wish they would have showed more of like his like abilities and like how like fucking hardcore they were. Like those Krav Maga dudes were. Like they're not just training like one thing. They're training fucking everything.
Exactly.
Yeah, there was a lot of room for that show to become exceptional. I don't think they had.
Dude, they had the platform, they had the right channel, they clearly had the funding with all the fucking computer animation 3D shit that they were doing for like the behind the scenes moves and how these particular shots could affect and hurt the body. Like they had a great concept of that show, and their hosts actually weren't bad. I like the fact that they took it from two different spectrums. You had your MMA fighter, and then you had a guy who came from a traditional martial arts background. So when they were giving their insights on the different arts, what they were saying actually made sense. I just kind of wish they would have maybe gone with maybe a different format versus the other show. What was it?
Fight Quest.
Fight Quest, yeah. At least with Fight Quest, they attempted to do different types of combat related sports. Like they actually did boxing, and I think they both did like Brazilian jiu-jitsu or whatever, but like I know like Fight Quest did like Sanda or Sanshao or something along those lines. I think a show like that would be very, very good today if done outside of the box, but a lot of those matchups didn't make sense to me.
That was kind of where they fell short. It was like the Deadliest Warrior kind of thing where like the matchups are just not great.
Man, dude, Deadliest Warrior was my show. The first
right,
the
but
first
then they did
two
that
seasons,
dumb shit, right? Where they're like, oh, let's put
vampires and fucking zombies.
Yeah.
This is a ninja.
Yeah. Most ridiculous.
Dude, I loved the first two seasons because I thought the premise was interesting. I'm going to go out and find two dudes of each one of these arts to represent their art. I'm going to leave the platform open for them to bring whatever X amount of weapons they want to bring. And I thought that was the genius behind the show. They allowed these geniuses to pick their own weapons to represent their art. Imagine if you're doing the fucking Ninja versus Spartan episode. And you got these fucking Greek dudes or whatever that are like, yeah, so I'm going to bring this fucking 8-foot shield, this short sword, this fucking helmet, and this is Spartan mentality. All right, what are you guys bringing? I'm going to get an egg with some powder in it, and yeah, we're gonna bring this ninja sword, and we're not even gonna give it its Japanese name. We're just literally gonna call it the ninja sword. And yeah, the guy next to me rocking the Bruce Lee haircut, doing all the Bruce Lee moves. Yeah, he's gonna represent ninjutsu with me. This is great. This couldn't possibly fail.
Yeah, it was definitely like a nerd-driven show, and not a combat pugilist enthusiast-driven show.
Oh, 100%.
Not at all. And I question a lot of those matchups, like, oh, samurai versus fucking Viking. Hey man, I'm all for samurais. I'm a big Judeki film fan, and I could watch Lone Wolf and Cub until hell freezes over, and
hell yes,
one armed swordsman. I love all that shit. But if you put Samurai Jack in front of 7.5 foot tall, 350 pound Viking who knows nothing but conquering shit.
It's not a.
I'm just not convinced, man, that your one hit, one kill is gonna be the method you're gonna want to use against cats that not only travel in packs but fight in packs and don't abide by that warrior code shit. I just didn't see how that went, and I was really upset with the weapons that the samurai guys brought. Like, I was really annoyed. So you bring your katana, I get that. Okay, it writes itself. Then you bring a giant mace with studs in it that's taller than you.
Yep. That weapon.
Okay, like I guess I could see how you would. Okay, sure. And then your third choice is just a random bamboo shield. Really? Not like a bow and arrow. Not like some darts or anything. You just like, yeah, here's my fucking bamboo shield, and this is all I need in life. And we couldn't possibly lose to these invaders and raiders that are showing up in these giant longboats and kicking the fuck out of entire villages for fun. I got you.
Taking down whole kingdoms.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah. Hey, they took Paris
with ease. How you doing, Deku, man?
I'm doing great, man. I'm doing great. I heard you guys talking about Deadliest Warriors and Samurais and
Oh yeah, I mean,
Vikings.
We're talking Savate,
Vikings
so
took over whole kingdoms.
For fucking fun. That's gonna be an episode that I'm actually looking into to doing that in the near future. I just want to do an episode solely on just like fucking Vikings. I don't want to talk MMA. I don't want to talk anything other than fucking Viking shit, because I feel like, and this is no disrespect to anyone else that talks Vikings, I just feel like they never talk about the elephant in the room. And in regards to, they weren't a bunch of fucking Neanderthal idiots. These motherfuckers were calculating as shit.
Yeah.
And that's more coming up in discussion nowadays.
Yeah, now it is. But think about the amount of think about all the years you've heard about Vikings. How are they oftentimes described? Just a bunch of
giant guy with
big giant
an axe
dudes,
and a shield, smashing people to pieces.
Me go chop down tree because me stupid. Like, really? You're so stupid you conquered goddamn lands. You're so stupid that you went fucking untested for God knows how long. It doesn't really sound stupid to me.
They've conquered so much shit. Most of the world has Norwegian in them.
Thank you. Exactly.
Yep. Yeah, they're similar to the Mong. They're like the on-foot version of the Mongols.
Yeah.
What's really interesting to me is, like, you mentioned that. I think there's a common thread in that we always look at history as though we've emerged from it.
Facts.
And like we're way smarter than previous peoples. But if you look at like, we do it kind of all the time. Like, we do it with like Vikings. Like, everyone forgets that. Yeah, no, these people were fucking crafty.
Yeah.
Like, even if you look at so when Michael Crichton wrote Eaters of the Dead, which is what the 13th Warrior with Antonio Banderas is based on.
Great book.
Yeah, it's actually an adaptation of Beowulf.
Fuck that movie, but great book.
Fantastic book. And Michael Crichton, I think, wrote it on a bet that, like, in grad school, that his buddy was like, "You can't make Beowulf a readable story," and he goes, "Fuck you, yes I can." And so he made the 13th Warrior. I think that's how it got started. But
Michael fucking
in that, he did Michael Crichton was a fucking genius, right? Like, first he was a doctor, and then he was like, I'm just gonna write. But this dude researched everything like hardcore, and in his research, like, he found all this stuff, and he actually puts it in the book where, like, kings are doing stuff where they would, like, intentionally deceive their enemies and let them know, so that now their enemies know they can't predict. So now their enemies are like. Like when there's a scene in 13th Warrior where this older guy, they come up to like another town and they're helping them deal with the like Neanderthals or whatever. And this young dude is like shoveling dirt and like hits the older guy from the like the main character's party. And they decided they needed to like prove something because there was tension between the two tribes. And so the old guy like kind of picks a fight with him intentionally. And the young dude is way bigger and way stronger. And this old dude, like, starts fighting him, and they're swinging their swords, and the old guy starts to pretend to like be out of breath and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then like a few minutes in, he just like effortlessly dodges the guy, like whips the sword over to his non-dominant hand and cuts the dude's head off. And the Middle Eastern dude who's like the writer of the story, who like it's his diary kind of thing. He asks one of the guys, why did he do that? And he tells him because now the leader of the other tribe has to figure out, like, has to calculate what he doesn't know.
Yep.
And like that shit is like we as modern people just in general don't give people in history enough credit. And we're seeing that actually. So this is a kind of a good segue into the Savate thing. Similar to what we're seeing now with like European weapons and how like hand weapons and how they were used. It's like there's these lost arts that these were really effective tools, and then details that mattered got lost along the way. And just now people are like starting to find them again and realize, oh yeah, these things are really effective when you apply them properly the way they're supposed to be. Like two-handed broadswords are super effective. You don't swing them like a baseball bat. You fight very differently. Similar. So Savate started as seemingly as something that like sailors and longshoremen would do, and whether it was whether the kicking got incorporated so that they could like hold onto the railing of like a rocking ship and fight each other, or just to get around the laws of the time because you couldn't punch someone with a closed fist because that was considered a deadly weapon. You could slap them and you could kick them, and if you're wearing big heavy sailor boots, you could fuck someone up. Like Sport Savate is like the dumbed down version that we think Savate actually is, but that's not at all what it started out as.
Oh no! It initially started off as a
super
fucking
effective.
fighting art of the fighting art of criminals.
What's that?
The original form of Savate was fucking no hold barred shit. It was predominantly done by, like you said, sailors and fucking criminals. This was how they settled beefs out in the fucking ocean. Like, oh, you got beef with me, I got beef with you. Let's meet on the main deck. I'm gonna kick the fucking hell out of you.
Savate de Roux, which is like Street Savate, like was kind of the original version of it. Like it's basically like a form of MMA, like street MMA.
That was one of the reasons why I picked the movie Angel Town versus another one of Olivier Gruner's movies, also amply titled Savate, because in Angel Town he does more of the Savate de Roux, the actual combat version of Savate, which looks eerily a lot like Muay Thai, but I'll hold that
like Muay Thai
until we get into the movie review. I'll hold those feelings to myself. But I that's one of the things that I liked about that, because I've been an Olivier Gruner fan for years. I used to, like I said, when I used to work at the video store, I used to have shelves and shelves of this dude's fucking movies, and that was actually how I first heard of the martial arts Savate. I had never heard of this shit before. And I was like, okay, let me look up this guy. You know, he was a Frenchman, and he was fucking fought in the French Commando Squad and all this other shit. And he was amply trained in Savate, the sport version, as well as the combat-related version. And he would put it in a lot of his films. And I was like, okay, cool, I'll check out some of his shit. And then, I discovered Angel Town. And I'll stop there because I have much to say in regards to Angel Town. So I'll hold that until we get into the movie review. But going back into Savate, I just want to put it out there right now. I do not want to run into any of these motherfuckers that are amply trained in Savate and get into a fucking foot fight with them. I think in terms of kicking, I think they have a very unique way of kicking and a unique way of striking that I think would give even the most, agile and dexterous kicker a lot of trouble. When I think of Savate, I don't really think of a brutal art per se, as I'm sure Justice at some point will go into a little more detail, because he's just the way he is with the, Rain Man of martial arts. We'll think of the early UFC when that cat, Gerard, whatever the hell his last name was, came into the UFC, what was it, UFC 1 with Savate and damn near kicked out a sumo tooth's fucking tooth. So there's clearly some brutality to the art.
Oh, yeah.
Like, there's definitely some brutality to it. I think that a lot of times it gets kind of lost in the shuffle when it comes to martial arts from around the world. And this isn't to be a dickhead or anything, but because it's French. And, the running stereotype of the French is that, they're weak. And That's not personally how I feel, folks. I'm just letting you know that is the running gag, or at least the running stereotype. And a lot of times I feel like the French arms or the French forms of combat oftentimes get lost in the shuffle because of that.
Yeah, isn't the joke that the French always surrender?
That is the running joke, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes back to World War II, where like they still had that same same combat style of like meeting in an open field and march forward type deal or whatever. But the soldiers were actually really badass. It's just the general, because like say if like a soldier would like, hey, I don't think we should meet in the middle of nowhere and charge forward these tanks with just us or whatever. And the thing, yeah, that's pretty much what it was. And the thing about it is like the general, they still had that Napoleon complex or whatever I say goes, or I'm gonna kill you or whatever. It's the generals of those armies in past wars were pretty much pussies, pretty much.
Oh yeah.
The soldiers themselves, they were actually badass. It's just they just get that bad rep of getting taken over by the Nazis back then first, and
correct me if I'm
supposedly
wrong.
it happened overnight.
Correct me if I'm wrong, Deku, but like the French Foreign Legion, wasn't that just made up of fucking criminals and badasses and just literally the fucking worst of the worst?
Originally, yes.
Like the worst, like the rapists, the serial murderers, the killers. Like they had guys that probably had like at least 30 to 40 bodies in their head, and they're serving an arm.
Fuck.
Yeah.
It's a little bit harder to get into now.
Deku, my friend, it is good hearing from you, man. We missed you on the last few shows, sir.
Has it been a long time?
It's been a good minute. It's been a good minute. Now that we now that we have you, would you be so kind, sir, as to let us know what are we eating today?
On it, cheesy!
Not gonna lie, definitely missed that theme music. But what we are eating today is one little, as you guys may know, I have so much love for Mexican. I love it. And we have a little local place here in Gastonia called Los Marcos. I had some lunch there the other day, and a lot of Mexican restaurants had their own secret sauce, a little soft taco to dip in thing. I had a mixture of beef and chicken taco, lots of lettuce, gotta get that gradient system. And man, like I went back for seconds and thirds. I had to make that day a cheat day. It was so good, and it's because I live like 3 minutes away from it. So, and I'm always driving past, going to it for work or home or to the gym. I was like, you know what, I'm gonna give it a try. It's whatever. I don't see much people there or whatever. It's not too many people, so a lot of social whatever. And I had their soft tacos, and man, it is delicious. It's delicious, not delicious, delicious. So, with that being said, I mean, if you live in Gastonia, just just take a gander, man. You not upset, you will not be disappointed. Again, it's called Los Marcos over here on Franklin Street.
That's what's up. Yeah, that's what's up. Definitely gonna check that out next time I'm hanging out in Gastonia. I'm an asshole when it comes to Mexican food. I'll be completely honest with you.
Why?
Because it's not all created equal. There are some places that are fucking delicious, and then there are some that are absolute dog shit. And I know that could be said about any restaurant, but foods that I genuinely like, I'm super hard on.
The back for the cook for Mexican food. You gotta check for the cook. If his name is not Paco, it ain't gonna be good.
Wow.
No. I'll go one better. I'll go one better. If you can barely communicate with them in any language that's other than Spanish, then you probably got a good place on your hands.
I agree.
Also,
Most
should look the establishment should look like it might not be up to code.
Agreed. I could not
this
fucking
place
agree
like it was
more.
going out of business. Like they would just get by.
Yep, hole in the wall.
For those listening, I just want you guys to know we are not being racist when we say this. But this is how we genuinely feel. Like I am the same way when it comes to Asian restaurants. If I walk in your spot and it looks like the Bally fucking fitness of Asian food, I have completely checked out. I'm done. I know I'm not going to enjoy anything in here. And I will argue this with anyone and everyone, but P.F. Chang's is fucking garbage.
Agreed.
I thought I was the only one.
No.
I'm not the only one.
Fuck PF
No,
I
Chang.
think it's garbage and overrated. Like, right?
That food is fucking toilet swill. It is overpriced bullshit.
There's a reason South Park made an episode about P.F. Chang talking about the largest species in the world.
Exactly. When it comes to like my Mexican food, my Asian food, Jamaican food, you name it, if it's not a hole in the wall, it's not for me. It's just not.
100.
Because I know that if I walk in and that door is barely on the fucking hinges, and that booth looks like it came out of 4 different fucking restaurants, and the menu itself isn't even fucking laminated, I know I'm in the right spot. I know that this food is going to be fucking delicious. Why? Because fuck how this place looks. Let's focus more on the fucking food, and that's what gets people through the door. And I treat gyms the same way. Like,
oh yeah,
giving a shout out to H8L. H8L will never ever look like Bally's or fucking Planet Fitness. None of that shit. I walk into a place like that, I'm immediately expecting someone to walk up and be like, "Hey, if you train here, you can get the Student of the Month merit badge, and you can get your picture put up on the wall as the best high kicker, or you could be like Brian here and get an award for breaking the most boards." That's not for me.
$1,800 a month.
Yeah, exactly. This is not for me. I need a place that I can walk into and realize at any moment in time, any person in here could turn on me and just whoop my ass.
Sounds like House of Eight Limbs.
Exactly, and I love that shit.
I wonder why.
I love when
sound
people
like
walk into the fucking gym and they have this expectation. Yeah, I'm going to learn some techniques. I'm going to learn how to defend myself, and I'm going to lose some weight, and I'll gain some self-esteem. And all of that is true. All of that is true when it comes to H8L. But you're going to have moments of absolute self-doubt. Like, am I in the right fucking spot? It's like someone went into the zoo and opened all the goddamn cages.
Right?
I just think that's the way that it should be. And I'm the same way when it comes to my restaurants and when it comes to my foods. But if I walk in and I don't smell any of the food, it concerns me.
Yep, I understand that. It's like when you go to Waffle House, like after a drunk night at the club.
Yes.
Or if you walk up to Waffle House and a guy named Jerome is not out there finishing up a cigarette, and he says, "I'll be in there, nephew, or I'll be in there, young blood. Give me a minute. Let me put this out real quick."
I couldn't agree more.
Say those words. I'm not going.
Finish a cigarette.
Again, segueing back to Savate, looking up different like Savate gyms from like all over Paris, I noticed that there's basically 2 types of Savate gyms. From what I was researching, you have gyms that look really good. They got these high-end bags, and their leotards are multiple colored, and they're shiny and bright, and they have this interesting grading system where they don't use belts, but they use these different colored gloves, like you're a white glove or a silver glove or a blue glove or a purple glove. Okay, that's cool. And then you have the other Savate gym that looks like a French dude walked into Mickey's gym in Rocky and threw him the fuck out and decided, yep, this is where I'm going to train. Beat me if you can. That's the kind of shit that appeals to me in regards to Savate. Which brings me to our next segue of Savate, the Transporter with Jason Statham. It blew my mind when I found out that Jason Statham had trained extensively in Savate for those movies. Looking back on it now, I could definitely see the Savate techniques, but when that shit first came out, I was like, oh, it's a weird form of kickboxing. That's a weird way of angling his kicks down at the shins. That's different. And then when I found out it was Savate, I was like, oh shit, this actually helps make Savate look fucking legit. What were you guys' thoughts on his not even so much as, not his acting ability, but his fighting ability and use of Savate in those films?
I will say this, and only this.
Mm-hmm.
You can tell that he trained day in and day out in that art.
Oh yeah,
I will say that definitely. I'm not saying he's the greatest celebrity Savate player or whatever, but you can tell he put in the work.
Oh no, he definitely put into work, and as far as I'm concerned, I think, and this is just my opinion, outside of like Olivier Gruner, I feel like that is probably the best or closest depiction of Savate on film and making it look cool.
I was telling you
Because,
guys a while back while I was in the underground. I was like, motherfuckers is sleeping on Savate, man.
You did say
The
that.
fights that I saw, I was like, man, dude, these guys are high level guys.
Well, you're one of the reasons why this episode is even happening, because we were talking about it in Underground, and I was like, man, he's right. You don't ever really hear about Savate really being, pushed to the forefront. And it has a cool name. I just think Savate is a cool ass name.
It like rolls off the tongue.
yeah, but is that what they call it though? Because I thought in French it was like BOXE Francasi or something like that. Francasi.
So yeah,
Yeah.
like box française or something. It's like French boxing.
Yes.
Savate actually means like old boot or old shoe.
Yep.
Again, with Savate, like the kicks are actually specifically kicking with the foot.
Yes.
Because it was developed with big fucking sailor boots on.
It was not designed to be pretty.
No.
Which actually blows my mind when you think about Savate. It was designed to be a dirty, gritty, in your face, fucking stomp a mud hole through you and walk it dry system that somehow got lumped into unitards and prancing and light based tip tap striking. It amazed me on how it actually turned from literally old boot fucking kick stomp style to what we see today.
I may be wrong, but I feel like maybe they needed to make it more appealing to their country. It's kind of like how MMA was. Like, they needed to do the steps to get it legalized, to get it regulated in all the states, so we kind of have to dumb it down. I feel like traditional Savate, like from the beginning, like you said, it means pretty much boot to face or whatever. They did this style in sailor ships. We had for somebody, like, going to wherever they was going, and the fights were bloody. So I guess that was their way of dumbing it down so it accepted, I guess. I might be wrong.
If I was a Savatist or a follower of the old boot, if you will, I would just wear T-shirts that say Savate on the front and on the back, from shoulder to shoulder, boots to asses. That's all. That's it.
Oh, bro, that's perfect.
That's cool.
Like, tell me that wouldn't be a fucking great shirt. Just Savate, boots to asses. The end.
Hell yeah. Here's the other thing too that I guess I'll bring it up for all the little fanboys.
Oh, here he goes.
Lee and Jeet Kune Do, a lot of Jeet Kune Do instructors do have a curriculum on the very minimal basics of Savate.
Come on, talk about it. You know you want to.
Including
Do it.
that Savate tie cross bullshit that I started learning.
Yes!
The rear leg check.
Oh.
Yeah, that STX, that is some bull. It is some bull.
I love the fact that all I had to do was just steer this conversation far enough in order for you to take over. Justice, sir, would you be so kind? Because that is our next segue in regards to Savate. Would you be so kind as to talk to us about STX kickboxing?
So STX kickboxing is Savate Thai, pretty much crossing and mixing with kickboxing, developed by Eric Paulson, who is certified Jeet Kune Do instructor under Guru Dan Anasanto. Pretty much he does a lot of things that Savate does. Bruce Lee talked about in his book, Tao Jeet Kune Do, straight line punches, straight line kicks, and things like that. You have the oblique kicks to the knee, to the front of the knee, to the thigh, even though that exists in other arts, but it seems to be very highlighted amongst, Jeet Kune Do, the Savate, the STX. I'm not going to say fanboys, but practitioners. Now, it can be useful. I just don't like the combinations, and the way it's taught is not. I don't think it's functional for MMA or even kickboxing as a whole. I haven't seen anybody progress with it in MMA or kickboxing, period. Even my old coach, who was a Jeet Kune Do instructor and submission wrestling instructor under Eric Paulson, he was like, hell no, we're going to go with Rob Kamen, and we're going to learn up under him, and we're not going to learn this bullshit.
I know very little about STS kickboxing. Like I said, the only thing I know about it was, as you had stated, that it was created by Eric Paulson. Now, I'm a big Eric Paulson fan in regards to his training concepts and how he blends different arts together for MMA. And for that, I'll give him all the credit in the world. No one can deny what he's done. No one can deny the champions that he's created. But when it comes to STX, this is where I kind of check out a little bit. And it's no disrespect, but when I think about cross-training and I think about mixing styles together, it makes sense for, the wrestler to learn submissions. So I can see that. It makes sense for the wrestler to learn how to box or kickbox. I get that. It makes sense for the kickboxer or the Muay Thai stylist to learn how to fight off their back. It makes sense for the Aikido guy to learn how to fucking strike. All that kind of shit makes sense. But when I think of crossing Savate and Muay Thai, I just don't see the benefit in that.
And here's the other thing I want to say. Again, Eric Paulson, great fighter.
Facts.
Fought in Shudo. The Savate cross, okay, let's go back. When he fought, he was lean, he was slim, he was kind of that lanky fighter. His lead leg kick was a main staple in his weapons that he used to control distance, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, because he was lanky, and this is just my opinion. He's a lanky guy, and it worked for him. That doesn't work for everybody.
True.
Those type of things that he used, it doesn't work for everybody. Some of it is based on, a lot of it is based on athletic ability, if I have to say it. And some people just don't have it.
I'll give you that, I agree with that. But I mean, like I said, the same could be said in just about almost all martial arts. There are going to be things that will work for some that won't work for others. I think, like I said, for me, when it comes to STX, it reminds me of, honestly, it just reminds me of American-style kickboxing from back in the day, where the lead leg is your primary weapon. And, you're bouncing on your rear leg and you're using your lead leg to not only initiate strikes or to keep distance. Outside of the name, that's all it looks like to me.
Pretty much. Like I said, there's some, like I said, the principles of Savate and some Jeet Kune Do in there. But again, you haven't seen very many people. You haven't seen very many Eric Paulson strikers. You've seen grapplers. You've seen MMA guys that could, good all around. You haven't seen very many strikers coming from his gym.
Now, do you think that's because they're using that STX system, or do you think that's just something that maybe falls by the wayside from his gyms?
His style of teaching and how it's learned and how it's taught, it's not, I'm not gonna say scientific, but you don't break down a lot of things. If you watch his videos, he goes through the motions and he goes through it a few times, but it's not really anything broken down as far as like when you talk about leverage, you talk about footwork, you talk about positioning, things like that. You don't really talk about that type of stuff. That bullshit.
Gotcha.
It's gimmicky.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Gimmicky, and you can package it in stuff that's easily digestible for people's brains. Like the fact that he tried to cross anything with Jeet Kune Do, he's shitting on his audience that they would not know anything about Jeet Kune Do. That it's literally just take whatever's useful for you from any style you find. So there's no reason to cross anything with Jeet Kune Do. It is a cross of everything itself.
So yeah, you'll see a lot of as we talked about before, you'll see a lot of CSW affiliated schools. They'll teach that. You'll see a lot of Jeet Kune Do instructors. They'll teach some type of Savate basics along in their Jeet Kune Do. It's weird.
I would love to actually, and I don't mean like this in a challenge kind of way. I genuinely mean this, but I think it would be great to cross-train with some local gyms that use the STX system, just to see if there's anything that would be worth adapting into our own system, or vice versa.
I like the idea.
And like I said, I don't mean that in a challenge you kind of way. I genuinely mean I'm interested to see What is it about STX that draws so many people to it? And I'm also excited to see what turns people away from it. And I would just think that, I'll be the first one to say this, there is something to learn from just about every art. You can pick up something from anyone or everything. There's always principles in everything. And I would be interested to see, what could be taken or used from STX. All right, well, there's our opinion on STX kickboxing. So, with that being said, UTBABYA, I know you've done a little bit of research in regards to Savate. So would you be so kind as to let us know, in your own words, your opinion, sir, Savate, shit's legit, or is it legitimately shit?
If you study with my 8-week program, 300.
Canada, you like? JC Penney, Okinawa, no need rope, hold up pants.
Oh, Miyagi. That might be the best one of all those intros.
Yeah, it's up there. It's definitely up there.
I think it's the laugh. It's the Miyagi laugh at the end. Okay, so I'm just going to give you the bottom line up front. Traditional Savate is fucking legit, and Savate's gone through a couple, I guess really just one wave, and that's kind of the dumbing down wave where shit gets turned into a sport. But originally, like we were saying, Savate was developed by fucking criminals and fucking longshoremen and sailors. Okay, so violent people doing violent shit, trying to figure out ways to beat the shit out of each other without catching a case. So in French law, you couldn't hit someone with a closed fist because that was a deadly weapon. Hey, you know what? I'll hit you with my fucking military boot instead.
Boom.
So, yeah. So this shit, it was for real legit. About as close to street MMA as you'll probably see in most of history, actually, at least for modern history. Using headbutts, locks, throws, fucking elbows, knees. They picked up sticks sometimes and trained with those. The original Savate, or also called Savateru, so street Savate, legit. This shit was absolutely legit.
Couldn't agree more. Your thoughts on sports Savate, sir?
Sports Savate. If you want to do something that's not as cool as any other kicking art, then go ahead. If you really need to wear a leotard, if you wrestled in high school and you just want to feel that unitard in one more time, go ahead. Do some sports Savate. It's better than Aikido, which I guess doesn't actually have tournaments or anything, because why would you do that when your art is a complete sham?
I beg to differ, sir. They do have Aikido tournaments.
Wait,
what?
Really? That exists?
That's the thing? I'm calling bullshit on
There's that, and then there's combat Tai Chi, which made me laugh.
Wow. It gets better.
Wait, what?
Combat Tai Chi. Wow.
Are you fucking with me? Is this real shit? Combat Tai Chi.
Combat Tai Chi.
Combat Tai Chi?
Nah.
Stop it.
Nah.
Stop it.
I do not.
Please
sir.
Put it in please.
You got to show this to me. You got to show this to me.
Because
You're not getting shit for Christmas. That's a lie.
Lobo.
You're
this
a liar.
shit, you had better be able to back this up. I will be so disappointed if I don't see some combat fucking Tai Chi.
Dude, if he puts combat Tai Chi in this chat, within the next episode or two, there's going to be a combat Tai Chi episode.
Oh, absolutely.
Holy
there can't
fuck.
not be.
Combat Tai Chi? I'm trying to picture what an Aikido tournament would look like. It would look like child soccer. It would just be people just running around, bumping into each other.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. Fuck no.
Damn you, Justice. Damn you. Now I have to click on this.
Oh my god. All right.
I told you.
I'm clicking on
Lobo, I had to back you up.
I'm clicking on it right now. Oh my god, it's real.
Sad.
He was making a show of that too.
Oh, I got to see this last one that Justice put in here. What is? Oh, Tai Chi Fighting
Tai Chi
Tournament,
Fighting
1988.
Fuck yeah!
That's the
sounds
worst
legit.
one.
That's the video I was
that-
looking for.
Oh, why does it
That's the
start
worst.
off like this?
1988. Cynthia
Right.
Ming.
Oh, she's really giving an interview.
Tai Chi, like this is crazy.
Oh, that guy looks like he's a cult leader.
I got to cut this up so everyone listening can
Doesn't
hear this.
he? Doesn't he? He looks like, yeah, go ahead. Come, bring your girlfriend. Offer her to me.
Make
This
sure she
dude
drinks
right
the
here
juice.
is going to be putting that special ingredient in all the punch later.
Drink my Kool-Aid.
Give me your money first.
You will receive it.
You know what this
He say
is?
slow, even connected movements.
He's one of those white dudes that drank the Kool-Aid. Someone handed him a pamphlet when he was walking down the street and said, "You want to be the deadliest fighter ever?"
120. That's when the fighting starts.
Yep.
Yeah, we did.
Good thing for training their bodies and
Okay,
reactions
this
and
dude
have
got-
context which to develop presence of mind.
Okay, this-
He does that.
Okay,
This one, I
this
can't make
dude,
fun
you
of.
know what? Oh, who is this? Christoph Clark. I've never seen a black dude named Christoph. This is amazing.
Yeah.
Must be Haitian.
Ah,
Christoph.
are those waves or just curls in his hair?
It's the 80s. It's a combination of both.
It was, yeah. It was like Bobby Brown doing kung fu.
I was about to say Carl. I was about to say he has Carl Lewis.
Yeah, he does.
Oh, my man tried a fucking cartwheel kick.
He did. He really tried.
Horseshit. And then he throws a tornado kick that just was awful.
Well, Lobo, I hope you realize what you started, sir. I hope you realize what you started. There's going to be an episode coming soon
Damn it, Lobo.
of Combat Tai
God
Chi.
damn it.
So, Deku,
Nice.
are you familiar with Jason Statham from The Transporter?
Yeah.
And I know you're familiarized with Scott Adkins from Undisputed 2 and 3 and so forth. A Separated from Consciousness special segment. I must ask you, sir, Undisputed versus Transporter, who, in terms of solely on-screen fighting, do you feel is not only the better fighter, but would separate the other from consciousness?
You want to do the man dance? First dance is yours. I'm gonna whip you silly, and I'm gonna fuck you stupid.
One thought he was invincible, he could fly. So? Both wrong.
Who separates who from consciousness and why?
Well, as much as I do Jason Statham,
As much as you do Jason Statham?
no, I said I do love. No way. I mean, he's a handsome man.
You gotta get it.
No, bro. You can't jump over
I don't
that.
roll that way.
You literally
you
just
wouldn't
said
say it.
You literally were just like, as much as I do Jason Statham.
I said do love. It was like
It was a
Do
silent
love.
love.
Cut out, huh?
Those
Oh, we
movies.
cut out, huh?
As much as
yes, it cut out. Y'all know my phone be fucking up.
Yeah,
There we go.
sure.
We're going with that. My phone be fucking up, y'all, and everybody knows this at the gym.
Yeah,
So,
except we can
there
hear
you go.
everything in the background.
Yeah.
But, you know.
We're going that road, guys. That's what we're doing. First night back on the bike, go that route. Like I said, look, he's an attractive guy. Don't get me wrong, but I do love his movies, and I hate to say this, but Buddy from Undisputed, fuck him up bad.
Okay. So you don't
Like
think his
and
Savate
the
would
reason
go through?
why is just, I mean, the Savate that he did in that movie was pretty. It was pretty decent. It's pretty dope.
Yeah.
But the MMA and the Muay Thai and the Undisputed moves, like you can tell, like if that fight really would happen, if that was a real, even though it was just movie, that was a real fight, you will see a lot of blood going on. Like a lot of people would be separated from consciousness. And I believe Buddy from Undisputed.
So let me ask you guys this, just in terms of Savate, and with the current state that we're in terms of MMA and fighters being far more complete now than they ever have before, you see a place for Savate in modern day MMA? Anybody?
I do.
Yeah. Well,
I do.
yeah.
It's a very small place, but you know, certain targeted kicks.
Because I could see a place for it.
Techniques here and there.
Yeah, I could see a place for it in modern day MMA. And by a place for it, I mean sporadic techniques. I don't think that and I'm just, again, not trying to shit on the art, but I'm not necessarily impressed with the boxing that I've seen from Savate. Lobo, sir, how are you doing today?
Doing all right.
Yeah, you had a good day. I'm glad, man. How you been?
Been fine.
That's good. You know, life treating you well? Staying safe out there? Yeah.
I don't like where this is going.
Deku, I know you've missed the last couple of shows, but Lobo is no longer the hater of all things ovaries.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Really?
He stepped his game up.
How did that stop?
Lobo has become the Dirk Diggler, the future porn star of the H8L.
Huh?
Yeah, man.
The Dirk Diggler.
Now,
it was
oh god.
So
just for the record, I did not pull my pants down at any point in time.
I mean, sometimes you got to put it out on the table.
I mean, you just got to lay it out there. Like, bam, hey, listen here.
Women's self-defense, you learn.
There it is.
You.
There it is.
Fuck you, dude.
That shit ain't gonna work. I get you, Lobo. I see what happened.
Would you be so kind, sir, as to provide us with our movie review of 1990's Angel Town?
And now, our feature presentation. Angel Town. He is a champion.
He's a big celebrity in Europe. 5 world titles.
He came alone to the mean streets of L.A. The untamed streets in the city of the angels. The angry streets of Los Angeles.
What you doing in my hood?
The get-even streets of Angel Town. A place where the history is written in pain. Here, trouble is the rule. The police always come too late. No one is safe. They can only push this man so far.
I don't want to fight, man.
Then he draws the line.
Don't mess with me.
Because this man has a limit.
Fasten up!
They picked on the wrong man. Now they will pay the price. His justice is 1-on-1. His truth is in the streets, and he speaks the language they understand.
All right, we settle this right here, and 1-on-1, and no one moves until it's over.
Get up, man! Get up!
2-time world kickboxing champion Olivier Gruner, Teresa Saldana, Angel Town.
When you just
Angel Town is about a French foreign exchange student / 5 times kickboxing world champion who goes to the hood, meets a nice family, helps him out by showing her son that real men fight with their fists.
God damn it! I didn't watch this movie, but I feel like I need to watch this shit. Damn.
Lobo, sir, that was the best. That was the best. That was the greatest synopsis ever.
Yeah, nothing was incorrect.
Nothing. Like I said, when I used to work at the video store, this fucking movie used to get rented all the time. And I could never figure out why. And I never bothered to rent the fucking movie. All the times that I worked at the video store, I never bothered to rent it. It wasn't until years later, I just happened to stumble across this shit in the bargain bin at fucking Walmart for like $5. I was like, yeah, I'm going to go home and check it out. If I had known this was what I was going to be watching, I would have gotten so fucking baked and watched this movie all throughout fucking college. This is the perfect pot movie. There are scenes of absolute wonder in this movie. Dude's getting ready to leave Paris, France to come to fucking LA and just has sex with a random bitch in a fucking cemetery wearing a fur coat.
So fucking
Yeah, he didn't like say shit about that.
What
Like,
am I supposed to do with my body?
And they just glossed over that whole shit. Like, she just rolls up. What am I supposed to do with my body? And just takes her coat off and she's ass naked. And he just bangs her right there in the cemetery after going to go visit his dead father.
the most French thing ever.
Ever.
Oh, hey.
Ever.
I'm about to leave to go be a student somewhere. Let's fuck in this cemetery. Okay, cool.
The only thing that would have
So
made it more French is that they smoked with a baguette.
Oh, that would have been fucking great. Dude, I love this fucking movie for all of the wrong reasons. This shit to me, this is my newfound classic.
It really is.
This is fucking amazing. This fucking dude is walking door to door in LA and he can't find a place, not because all the rooms are sold out.
No.
Like, when the dude fucking goes to the school, you're a foreign exchange student. And they're like, it's this fucking French frog.
Oh, the fucking dean.
The dean
just
hates
doesn't
French
like him.
people.
Yeah,
I don't believe the Olympics committee at all. You're a fraud.
Yeah.
What the fuck happened?
That was my favorite moment in the movie, period.
Like, there was no lead up, no build up. He's just, you're a fraud. The Olympics was wrong. Like, what?
Yeah.
What Olympics?
And then they never have another scene together again.
No, they do. He's in the classroom and he's just grilling him about like some math question.
Oh, fuck.
And he answers it right. And then then he fucking intimidates the kid next to him by like grabbing his tie and like pulling him close and saying some shit to him. And then he just leaves. And then he just leaves the
movie was
classroom.
weird and it was ass, but I feel like I need to go watch it.
I have never in my life seen such a non-intimidating gang member ever.
Oh my god!
How are you surrounded?
About me, Holmes is my Uzi that I don't use. I think my favorite part is when they talk to like the Chinese gang leader.
Oh,
and he's like, that guy. We just kind of let him do whatever he wants. We don't really care.
We don't care at all.
You don't fuck with the triads, so Yeah.
And we're not going to use them to push drugs, so fuck them.
I like his very first street fight when dude is just walking back from the school gathering after being dissed by the fucking dean and just puts on literally a kickboxing instructional in the middle of the fucking street and people just watch.
And then he throws them all into their car,
yes,
bloodied and battered, and they take off.
He throws them into their car.
And then I love the fucking hungry eyes that his the girl that they introduced to us and then has no part in the movie afterwards
ever.
Like,
oh yeah, she fucking dies for no goddamn reason.
His classmate, like the blonde chick,
yeah,
who like sees him at the like party or whatever, and then like he beats the shit out of those guys, and then she's just like throwing him hungry eyes, and then I don't think we see her again.
We never see her again.
Oh no, the
chick that gets killed is is Angel's girl.
That's Angel's bitch.
And he kills her because
she laughed at him.
Because she laughed.
Frenchie creeps in, puts a fucking knife to his neck, and is like, "Hey, you're gonna knock this shit off, right?" And he's like, "Yeah, okay." And then he leaves, and then this crazy bitch starts laughing at him, and then gets her throat cut.
Yeah.
Scene where he's talking to the kid, he's like, "What? I thought all kids wanted to join a gang. Why don't you?"
Yeah, dude. Him trying to give a pep talk was the worst thing ever. The kid is literally like, I don't want to live that way, and I want to get my family out of the hood. Why? All kids want to be in gangs. No, but my thing is, his flashback of him being chased down the road and hiding in the trunk of a car, that was your most traumatic experience?
Yeah. Oh, fuck, yeah.
This kid is talking about how he's watched every one of his friends die. They made it pretty loud and clear that this fucking guy doesn't know anyone in Los Angeles. Like, he's literally a fish out of water. But somehow, he knows the local karate/taekwondo instructor who has this great fucking gym with 0 fucking students. Yeah. And
oh yeah, students they show that.
He has students, but like, you look at his students, they're all wearing like these little gi tops and shit like that. And then when dude does his training montage, it's a whole different set of students.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh yeah.
these fucking swole, jacked up dudes who are just like lifting weights and hitting the bag. Like, what class is this? What?
That was the pro fight team.
It had to be. And when he finally has his training montage, like, okay, you're about to see, combat Savate, it looked eerily similar to Muay Thai through and through.
What I know about that is they changed his outfit like 4 or 5 times in one montage.
Dude had like an American fucking Stars and Stripes gi, then he's got on fucking like Muay Thai shorts, then he's got on fucking sweatpants. And I'm like, what the fuck kind of workout is this?
How many days?
It was supposed to be like different days? Like him, like training across multiple days or some shit.
But
like
I couldn't tell because the kid was wearing the kid's wearing the same clothes.
Muay Thai shorts, then goes back into that when he's stretching. Like I don't understand what's going on here.
It's the 90s and 80s. They did that in movies.
Well, that's true because everyone else remained in the same clothes except for him. Now, I will admit there is a move that he does that I want to pull off on somebody so bad. When next time someone does a spinning back kick. Man,
oh yes, dragon tail sweep.
I am cutting underneath somebody with a fucking standing dragon tail sweep. It is fucking over.
I know exactly who you're gonna pull it off onto.
I fucking saw that and I immediately stood up and did it. I fucking did that in like shadow boxing style.
It's so easy.
That looked so fucking cool.
That's technique of the day. Go ahead and spoil it. We got it. We're all on one accord here.
Well, I'm still playing that intro, so hold on to that shit. But dude, I like I said, this movie is absolute ass in terms of story. But I will give this movie a lot of credit for its fight scenes. It definitely did a good job of showcasing that Olivier Gruner definitely knew his shit. I will give him that much. The different techniques that he pulls off on these fucking cholos is fucking amazing. It's fucking amazing. He mixed a good amount of kickboxing and savate and boxing. I even saw like a few Aikido moves that he was busting out every now and then. I was fucking impressed.
He had a wrist throw.
Yeah, he had the wrist throw. He hit this motherfucker with a clothesline. And that shit looked fucking brutal. It wasn't like the whimsical, pretty clothesline. He damn near decapitated this fucking dude.
Oh, and he had some great jump knees, too.
Oh, his jump knees were a thing of beauty. They actually looked pretty fucking visceral, because, like, whoever the stuntmen were for this movie, I feel sorry for them, because it didn't look like he was pulling anything. That training montage is probably one of the best martial arts training montages I've seen in films in a long time.
I 100% agree.
The only thing that tripped me out about that montage is when he calls this fucking guy forward, and he...
Oh, it was so weird.
Dude, hits this motherfucker with the most legit fucking foot sweep, and apparently that is actually a savate move. I looked that shit up. I can't say the name in French, but it's basically like you pull the guy forward, shin kick their fucking shin, and damn near twist their neck like you're getting ready to fucking break it. And apparently the guy either has to go with it or they have to stand and have their neck broken.
Jesus Christ!
Holy fuck! What the hell? But he nails this fucking throw and puts this dude in this hold, and he's like, "Hey man, the only reason why he's not dead, man, is because I don't want him dead, man. You see that, man? I control his life in his hands, just like you control. It's like you control Angel's life. No, actually, you don't actually control that guy's life at all. But I get the message you're trying to parlay, but that's actually very incorrect. If you just randomly grab a guy with a gun, you're gonna fucking die. But I get where you're going with it, though.
If you watch that scene, that dude literally looks like he's in fear of his life.
Oh, he's hurt because the way
wasn't that his friend?
Yeah.
Yeah. The way he has his neck turned.
It's so weird. He just fucked up in front of this kid.
Yeah, the way that he's got his neck turned, there's no escape from that. If he drops to his knees, he breaks his own neck. If he pulls back, he breaks his own neck. He is in a shit spot. And it's like, that's supposed to be your homie, bro. Like, could you at least given him a fucking heads up that you were going to do this shit to him?
Especially before you do that in his own gym.
In front of his fucking students and shit.
You want to talk about a big dick move? There's a big dick move.
Yeah, that is a fucking straight up Dirk Diggler move right there. That's 15 inches strong, right in your forehead. Nothing you can do about it. And I even like near the end where they have like the big fucking gang battle in front of the old lady's house, and he's kicking the fuck out of the majority of this gang. And there's this move that he does that I want to do it to someone so bad. I want to kick someone in the dick, pull their 2x4 out of their hands, put it behind their fucking head, and jump knee their head through the 2x4.
Oh yeah.
I must have rewinded that shit like 20 times. I was like, holy fuck. That guy's
Guys,
dead.
I hope you do someday.
That guy is fucking dead. Like, fucking dead. But what tripped me out though is he beats the ever-living fuck out of Angel until the dude could barely stand. And then he's like, hey, Joey, now it's your turn. Go ahead and beat him up. Boy, you've already kicked the fuck out of him. Like, what do you mean? And then he's like,
don't kill him.
And then he's like, nobody jump in. Bro, like, you've
and I like how they're all just cool with it.
Yeah, they're like, okay.
Like the Cholos are all just like, yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
I mean, if you were one of those guys, would you jump in and help out your boy?
I mean, after watching half the gang get fucking murdered, and can we give a shout out to the war veteran next door neighbor?
Oh hell yeah!
For part of the movie,
this motherfucker is in his wheelchair taking people out with a fucking M16. Which, for those who don't know, was the machine gun of choice of the 80s.
Climbs a fence with his wheelchair, climbs upstairs with his wheelchair, gets in the house, and just starts mowing motherfuckers down.
Yep, he's a fucking boss.
Dude, he is dragging his M16 in his fucking wheelchair and still gets there in enough time to fucking kill the fuck out of people.
Yeah, he's the hero. He's the real hero.
Yeah, with a shotgun.
True big dick move right there.
Actually, you know what? I think the kid did a really good job.
He did. You know what? He genuinely looked like a scared kid who genuinely didn't want to be a part of a gang. And to his credit, that was his whole thing. He just didn't want to be a part of this gang.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe the gang culture was a little different in the 80s and 90s, but this is a lot of effort put in by Angel and his gang to recruit this one fucking kid that can't fight, doesn't have any money, and has zero street or survival skills at all. Why do you want this kid again?
Because they killed his dad.
Yeah, it's what do you call it? That reputation. Now I got your son on my team, and also because he's young, so if he receives any charges, he probably can get off on a bunch of them.
Whose on-screen Savate did you like more, Olivia Granaires or Jason Statham's?
Granaires.
Oh, come on. Come on. Shit. Jason Statham even kick above his head?
I think he kicked one dude in the face.
I think he had a few head kicks. Actually, no, he had quite a bit of head kicks.
A lot of head kicks.
Yeah.
Yeah, those were movie head kicks where he barely has enough flexibility to get it there, and definitely not enough to put anything on it.
But early transporter he was. Now if you start getting to like the transporter 3,
he wasn't. He wasn't head kicking anybody in part 3.
Living that A-list lifestyle.
Those jump spinning kicks he used to pull off. Yeah, not so much.
Yeah, this dude made Savate look like one of the most illest fucking martial arts on the planet. So now we got to go into our rating scale. And for those tuning in for the first time or who aren't quite familiar with how we rate our films, we rate on a very unique scale. 1 being absolute dog shit, or as Deku would call Hershey Squirts doo-doo balls, all the way up to a 10, which is a soul-obliterating kick to the nuts of absolute cinematic awesomeness. And that is the scale that we use for our craptacular karate flicks. For myself, based off that training montage alone, his brutality and the way that he was doing Savate, and the fact that he would just bang this girl endlessly on his father's grave, I have to give this movie a fucking 5. Justice, your rating, sir.
Just based on the dean of the college, and he was such an asshole, and I found it so funny. My favorite part of the movie. I'm gonna give it a 4.
Okay, all right, Lobo.
I gotta 100% agree with what you said, although I have to give this a 4 just because that story is so fucking bad.
Oh, that story is atrocious. UTBABYA.
I'm going to rate it higher. I don't know if it's just because we've been watching such atrocious martial arts in the last movies, but I gotta.
This is awesome.
I gotta give it at least a 7.
Whoa!
Simply because
I'm in.
We got to see his actual martial arts prowess in the training montage, and then we get to see some fucking effective shit like knees to the face and kicking people in the shin and breaking their shit. Like, this was a good. Also, like, I actually didn't hate the plot. I didn't hate the plot.
Plot wasn't
a little
bad.
far-fetched. Plot was not terrible, and the kid did a good job with the acting. The French dude, not a terrible actor either. Not a bad actor.
Not a bad actor.
Yeah, I'm giving it a firm 7.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. This is our first 7 ever. Justice.
I will definitely watch.
Please do. Would you be so kind, sir, as to provide us, as if we don't already know, but go ahead and provide us with the technique of the day.
Improve your skills, son. Harden your body. Become the number 1 man. Do not ever let anyone beat you.
All right, technique of the day, which we've already talked about pretty much, is during the training montage and his sparring partner throws a spinning back kick. He kind of sidesteps, spins around, and does like a spinning. What'd you call UTBABYA? Dragon tail.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean I call it a dragon tail, but yeah.
That's what it is. Yeah. It's literally a standing dragon tail sweep.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, you're gonna put somebody on their head, pretty much. Yeah.
Dude, you're gonna fucking decapitate
That's gonna be
them.
brutal. If I get hit with that, I'm walking out of the gym. I'm just telling you.
Bro, if you get hit with that, you're not walking anywhere. You're gonna wake up in the fucking emergency room, and they're gonna have to do emergency surgery to fucking put your spine back together again. I couldn't agree more with your choice, sir, for technique of the day. Since we're still on technique of the day and we're feeling nostalgic with this 90s film, why don't you go ahead and take us back down memory lane while you're at it.
Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. Back in the days when I was young, I'm not a kid anymore. But some days I sit and wish I was a kid again.
All right. So this week we're talking about Savate. Not really too many Savate competitions, so I did go with something close by from the Netherlands. It's Showtime kickboxing. You know, right after not after, but kind of during K1 during his downfall or his decline. I say his decline. It's Showtime started to pick up in the Netherlands. You had a bunch of champions. Tyrone Spong.
Oh yeah,
he fought there.
Yep. Gokhan Saki.
Gohan Saki. You had Danny Bill, Remy Bonjowski. Pretty much anybody who fought in K1, pretty much. Even Paul Daly fought in It's Showtime. Pretty cool. If you like K1, you like Glory, look up It's Showtime. It went out of business in 2012. So check it out.
Hell yeah, definitely. Appreciate that. You know what I'm actually surprised we didn't talk about? I'm surprised, since we're talking about Savate, I'm surprised we didn't go into Gerard Gordeau very much. I mean, even though he's human garbage and he's a complete piece of shit, I'm surprised we didn't. I'm surprised we didn't talk about him. For those who don't know, Gerard Gordeau is the 1991 world champion Savate title holder, and I want to say he was like a Dutch champion of Kyokushin for like almost 10 years.
Yeah, he was on couldn't nobody beat him.
Yeah, like undefeated for like a long time. The dude was a fucking bad dude. I mean, I say bad dude because the dude had legit skills, and he definitely beat a shit ton of legit guys. And on top of that, like I said, he was internationally known for kicking was it Tila Tuli's fucking tooth out at UFC 1, where the dude's fucking tooth was stuck in the guy's fucking foot, and he still kept beating his ass. The reason why I call him a piece of shit is because the dude is a known dirty fucking fighter and was known for using illegal fucking fighting techniques and was known to bite his opponents, and he famously fucking blinded a guy for life.
Yuki Nakai?
Yep.
Valley Tudo, Japan.
Yep. So I give him all the credit in the world for what he did in Savate and, in Kyokushin. Like I said, the dude was fucking legit. European Savate champion, world Savate champion, French Savate champion. The dude knew his fucking shit and went several years undefeated. Well, gentlemen, that was all I had for you guys for this evening. Once again, I thank you very much for another fantastic episode of H8L Presents Fistfights and Fried Rice. That was all I had for you guys for this evening. And let's get the fuck out of here. Be sure to listen, like, share, and subscribe for all the latest episodes, news, and updates. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at fistfights.friedricepodcast or at H8L.Muay Thai. On Twitter, follow us at H8L_Fight Talk.